Screw in. I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, we can see you now, Nathan.
That was the idea.
You were a little dark before.
I noticed that. I tried, I don't know how to adjust it, but anyway, I knew I'd be good at this location. So.
Yes, well, that's better. That looks more like you now. So someone's still missing.
Yeah, just
Who's
John. I think
John?
he was out. It sounded like he was out in his workshop, so his wife was grabbing him. It might take him a couple minutes. So I don't know if we wanted to get started and he
Sure,
can join us or.
Yeah, sure. We can get started. We've got quorum, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll just give us, there's Ron. Okay, perfect. Okay, well, good afternoon, everybody. It is the 26th of July, 2022, and I'm calling this meeting of the Heritage Committee to order at 2:09 p.m. Our first order of business is to adopt the agenda. Are there any other edits, errors, omissions? Anybody wants to make note of?
I have a question, Nathan. I would like to have
Yep.
some discussion on Layer Cake Hall, and I'm not quite sure where to put that discussion on the agenda.
Right. I will suggest that we put that in section 9 at announcements and inquiries. I'll just kind of
Okay.
treat that as new business.
Yep.
Essentially.
Okay.
Okay. So if everybody's
Yep.
comfortable with that, we'll discuss Layer Cake Hall under item 9, since I know Barb wants to ask some questions of Jennifer as well. Anything
Okay.
else?
No, otherwise looks good.
All right. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda, please? Mike, seconded by Robert. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is carried. Next, we have any declarations of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof.
Nope.
Seeing none, we'll move on to the minutes. Confirmation of the minutes of the Heritage Committee meeting of June 7th, 2022. Are there any edits to those minutes as presented? Seeing none, could I get a motion to adopt the minutes? I'll go with Robert, seconded by Ron. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is carried. No delegations. Number 5, unfinished business list. Over to you, Jennifer.
All right, so same as usual, I'll just go over what we have updates for. The plaque program, we have the report. It's the only one coming to this meeting today. So I'll go further into that once we get to that section. We have an estimate as well as a question from one of the property owners that applied for a plaque. The reference manual, so that was the conservation guide for property owners or designated property owners. Subcommittee staff, they met on July 20th to go over some of the updates to the manual, and we continue to do edits. I'm working on that. The Parkway gates. So I did send out an email to MTO regarding the Heritage Committee's request to add it as a listed property in the municipal register. They did let me know that they received the letter and that they would be discussing amongst themselves, and they'll get in touch when they have an answer for that. And that's that. That's all the updates.
Excellent. Thank you for that report, Jennifer. Over to committee members. Any questions or comments on Jennifer's report?
Not on the report. I just have one general question that's not related. So maybe other business later, or just for now, or doesn't matter.
You can proceed, Ron. That's fine.
Question. I know there's the designated list, but where is a list of the listed properties for the township? Because they don't
So-
seem to be. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. We keep a printed copy in the red binder with the
Okay.
designated properties. So it's with the municipal register, the physical one.
So it's not available on the website or anything like that?
We don't put the listed ones on the website. I'd have to ask Andrea about that, if that would be something we can add.
Okay. Okay. Because I have some
Hey, Ron,
questions.
I have a rough draft of what was the result that summer. I could easily email it to you.
That would be great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
just a spreadsheet with illustrations and the information that we were associating with each site. I'll also send you the list of the ones that got bumped off. But there
Okay.
are some important buildings like the Huffman House that we really ought
Yes.
to try and go around again.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that should be a designated building, frankly, by my opinion. But yeah, okay,
Yeah, right.
all right. Thanks. That's great. If you did that, that's all I need, really.
Okay. Any other questions? Comments? All right, could I get a motion to receive Jennifer's report then, please? Moved by Ron, seconded by Robert. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is carried. No reports from council. Number 7, designated property plaques, second round. Over to you, Jennifer.
All right. So as per the last meeting on June 7th, we had the 3 applications for property plaques. So those properties were at 402 Academy Street, that's the Bath United Church, 433 Main Street, which is the W.A. Johnson House, which is across the street from the Bath Museum, and 15095 Front Road, which is a dry stone wall. So everything was approved from the Heritage Committee. And I sent out the permission forms to the 3 property owners. 402 Academy and 433 Main Street, they sent theirs back. They were fine with it. The property owners at 1509 Front Road, the McMullins, they were wondering if on the plaque, we could add farm to the end of it. So it'd be McMullen Farm Dry Stone Wall. I did also get an estimate for Goreway Group. They're the company we get the plaques produced and installed from. And there is no difference in cost whether we add the word farm or not to that plaque. So money-wise, there's no issue there. So I did make up an example of the design with the word farm added to it. And if there's no issue with that, we can go with that design instead, as they asked for. But overall, the cost for the 3 plaques with installation and taxes comes to $2,455.07, which we have $4,000 in expenses for the budget. So that covers it if we wanted to go ahead with that.
Over to the committee for any comments on Jennifer's report. Are we more or less in consensus that that's fine with the adjustment to that particular plaque for the McMullins? Barb, you have a question?
Yes, I just want to say I really appreciate that the farm aspect of a property could get recognized. So that's great.
Absolutely.
And we're good with the cost? Well,
We're stuck with the cost, right?
stuck with the cost, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So moving forward, I'll let Audra know, the property owner, that she's good to, or we're good to add farm to that, and I'll get her to sign the permission form, send it in. Once I get that in, are we okay if I send in the designs, the permission forms, and the estimate to council?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you, Jennifer. Could I get a motion to receive Jennifer's report then, please?
Mike?
Moved by Mike, seconded by Robert. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is carried. Thank you very much. No correspondence. So over to number 9, announcements and inquiries, and what I'm terming new business. So we'll start with Barb. Barb had a question of Jennifer that she'd like to ask on the record.
Yes, Jennifer, I know you went to the conference in Brockville. What was it, the 18th of June? And I'm curious about some of the most interesting points that you picked up there.
Yeah, so it was really great. It took place over 2 days in Brockville, so I was able to go there and just didn't need a hotel or anything. It was really nice to have it so close. So it was the first one in person for the last 2 years. And so I did go and took a revision course on the Ontario Heritage Act and all the new details that have been added to it, which is always fun to see everybody else as frustrated as I am with the changes and what that means. So we discussed one of the things that the ministry was supposed to circulate to everyone is an updated toolkit for the Ontario Heritage Act, and that hasn't happened yet. So we discussed that and our frustrations for that. It was just, that's all that particular session was about, was just, I guess, venting with a bunch of heritage planners. However, I also took a session on climate change and how it's affecting heritage sites, especially those that have large gardens and such. And just if it's closer to, say, a lake, which we have a couple designated properties owned by the township by lakes. So that was good. We're hoping that, I believe one individual is going to try and get a Google Docs set up with all the points and just information that was discussed at that session together, because there was quite a lot of information that just was really fast going through. So it'd be great to get kind of something laid out that we can all use. So I'm waiting on that. We did do a tour of the Fulford house and gardens, which was gorgeous. And we discussed kind of how they went through that, how it essentially was broken up over time, just bits and pieces sold off. And just the care of the gardens. So that was really great. It was jam-packed with everything.
Getting back to the toolkit, are other heritage committees writing to anyone to urge?
Not that we discussed. I know that the head of the meeting for that session, they were going to send something in on behalf of the conference and the heritage planners and such that joined to the ministry to ask that either they hurry up and get it done, or if it's ready to go, to send it out.
Good.
Because that would be really helpful.
Yeah, well, maybe by next meeting you'll have something, and if not, we should become part of a squeaky
the squeaky wheel.
Province-wide wheel.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Barb, for your question. We'll move now to Mike, who wanted to discuss layer cake.
Thanks, Nathan. As everybody knows, the Layer Cake Hall is undergoing a significant renovation. This is a very, very visible project in Bath. It's also a very expensive one. It's over $200,000 of public funds that are being spent to do this. And I just see this as a tremendous opportunity to promote the idea of heritage and the importance of heritage. So what I'm wondering, is the restoration, is it being recorded at all? Is somebody doing sort of before after pictures in it? Is somebody recording the difficulties that they experienced? What about interesting finds? Have they discovered anything that they weren't expecting to find? What about the unique challenges? So what I'm wondering is, at the end, is somebody going to put together, say, perhaps a PowerPoint or a pamphlet to show what it was like, how they fixed it, what's being done with it? I just see this as a huge opportunity for us to take advantage and to get people involved. And then once it's finished, would it not be a good idea to have sort of a plan for a public opening so people could come and see what was being done there? It's just that it's such a unique property. There's nothing like it. It's not just like a lot of the properties we look at that are our heritage. This one's really unique. Anybody who goes by can see it. And I just see that as a outstanding opportunity for us to gain more engagement with the community and heritage, providing there's a plan to do that. And I'm wondering, is there a plan of any kind for any of those things that I've mentioned?
So I can get in touch with Adam, who is the project lead, Lindsay, who is the manager of the new division, Heritage, Culture, and Tourism, as well as Carrie, who is the facilities manager. And I can send on those questions to the three of them and get those answers, because I don't have them right now.
Right.
I'd like to comment that Loyalist deserves a lot of credit for moving on this, because I know municipalities tend to drag their feet for decades on things, and they move right away on this. I think that should be commended.
Now, at our meeting last week, we raised this question, and you did put a question to the project manager, and we got a very short email, but that's not what I'm looking for. I think this is a tremendous project, and I would like to see that kind of advantage taken of it to make the public more aware of it, especially because it's public funds that are being spent, and the public should see what tremendous value they're getting for that.
Mike, did you want to draft an email, and then I can forward that to the three individuals that I mentioned? So then your questions are being answered.
I'm okay. I'm just not sure which is the best way to proceed. They might have a plan already. I don't know. The answer that we got to our first inquiry was a brief description of some of the activities. And I'm wondering, is that all the information they have, or was that just like a quick summary? And I'm not quite sure who's the appropriate person to ask.
I can ask on your behalf if you wanted to send me your questions, and then I'll forward that email. So then you know that your questions are being sent and it's not through a third party, essentially.
Should it not be questions on behalf of the Heritage Committee, not me personally?
Sure. But did someone want to draft an email that I can forward to make sure that all the questions are there?
I'll send you an email with the kinds of questions that occurred to me. Others may have other ideas and other questions, but I thought it was appropriate to raise it as a discussion point. Am I the only one who thinks that this is a good idea? I could be, but I don't know.
You're not.
No, I doubt you are, Mike. So what I would suggest then, if everyone's happy for those questions to get asked on behalf of the committee, it makes sense likely for me to do that as the chair. So if Mike, you wanted to email me with, the number of questions that you've just listed, I can draft an email that I can then circulate, or have Jennifer circulate to the committee and ensure that everybody's happy with it. And then that can be sent to the appropriate people, which I would include potentially the deputy mayor and the CAO, who are ultimately at the top of the food chain. So if the answer comes back that there isn't plans at this point, then those are the kinds of people that would need to be engaged to figure out what we would do.
Okay, Nathan, I can do that. Happy
forward.
to do that.
Would you do that? All right.
Yep, for sure.
Excellent.
I just
Everybody's
have,
happy with that?
I have
Barb,
a
go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't looked at our heritage permit documents for quite a while. This project did involve a heritage permit, didn't it?
Yep.
Yep. And wasn't there something in there about photographically documenting the work?
That might have been the last one that we discussed on for the Fairfield Goodsett House.
I don't mean the layer cake hall itself, but as our general format, was not documentation of
Yeah.
the work in there? So it should be being done, and we, I think, are right to be checking that it's being done.
So for our heritage grant application, one of the requirements is for before and after photos to be submitted of the
Before and
project.
after.
I don't believe anything is specified for an after
Work in
photos for
progress.
a permit,
That's
but
dead. Well, we should
in
put
the
that in.
permit application, before photos and images of any of the just what work needs to be done, restoration requirements, we do ask.
There was a heritage assessment report as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, and it held
yeah,
photographs of what
Yeah.
was there at the time.
Yeah.
But once they broke into the outer skin and paint layers, it would be the chance of some interesting object lessons.
Yeah. So I guess then that's something that could come out of what you're proposing, Mike.
Good.
Okay, well, it looks like we have a way forward on that. Are any other announcements, inquiries? New business? All right, we don't have any upcoming meeting dates at this point, do we, Jennifer?
No.
No? Okay, well, then I will call for a motion to adjourn then.
Okay.
I'll say Robert called that. Barb, I'll just so you're doing something, Barb, you can
Yes,
second
right.
that.
Taking so long to get that little hand up. I
There
don't know
you go.
why they make it a two-step process.
All right, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please raise a hand. We are adjourned. All
All
right,
right.
folks.
Okay.
Good to
Enjoy the
see you
rest of
all.
your
Enjoy the
day.
rest of the summer.
Yeah.
Great,
too.
thank you.
Bye.
Good day.
Bye.
Good to see you, John.
Yeah, it's good to see you, John.
It was a little late.
It's all right.
I had trouble trying to get the password to work.
Oh,
Oh, I always have
Cut
that.
and
yeah.
paste, it wasn't working very well. Because
All
they're
right,
so
we'll
bloody
see you
long.
again soon.
Everyone.
all right. Bye, everyone.